we one bliss. Someone flicks me a back body. So, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Green Diamond Boxing, hosted by iBoxingHub. My name's Aiysha, and just before we get started, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, D-Rock. Please check out their website, add promo code iBoxingHub24 for 40% discount on all their clothing. My guest today is boxing pundit and historian Spencer, the Master Knowledge Fearon. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam, sis. How are you? You good?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan, how's your fast going?
You know what? It's okay. Today is the first day I did any exercise whilst fasting. I never ever do that, but I did my boxing class while I was fasting today. And yeah, just shout out to my coach, Bobby Mills, who really helped me out, just reduced the intensity of the class and just gave me loads of breaks and helped me to get through that session. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
That's good. That's good that you're doing it. That's good.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Do you train when you're fasting as well, or do you not do any exercise when you're fasting?
Train?
Yeah, train.
I've been retired from boxing for 20 years.
You know, exercise, gymming, whatever. No?
No. Training. I got 4 kids to look after.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But so I've got loads of questions for you. I know you don't have a lot of time, but let's see how much we can get through before you need to leave. So I just want to start off from your where you were born, brought up in Brixton, South London. You obviously were a professional boxer.
That's a lie.
Is that not true?
Not true.
That's what it says on Wikipedia, man. Where were you born?
But that's the thing. Wikipedia. I didn't write Wikipedia.
I don't know who wrote it, but I need to actually ask you some stuff from there as well. But yeah, tell me then, where are you born and brought up?
I didn't. I was born in Lambeth in Kennington, which is just down the road from Brixton.
Yeah.
So I wasn't born in Brixton. I grew up in Brixton on the weekdays, and on the weekends I'd go home to Kennington. So on the weekdays I'll stay with my aunt, my mum's sister, my beloved Aunt Pinda. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with her and accept her into Jannah. And like, so I grew up on the weekdays with her and her 3 children who were like my bigger brothers and sisters. And so I grew up in Brixton on the weekdays, which are predominantly black area. And then I grew up in Kennington on the weekends, which is a predominantly white area. So I got the 2 cultures, which were really cool for me growing up. And yeah. So yeah, that's where that's. Pardon me?
Where did you start boxing then? Were you boxing in Brixton or?
No. I started boxing. Yeah, I started boxing at the Brixton Recreation Centre when they started. Yeah, the Brixton Recreation Centre when it just opened. I think they opened in like '84 or something like that. And I went there. I went there to learn boxing in the summer holidays and the summer program, and I went there. But I was always fascinated with boxing. Like I must have been about 5 years old. My mum bought me a blow up Incredible Hulk though, because I was a very timid kid, and a pair of boxing gloves. Yeah, I was about 4 or 5, and then from then I just fell in love with boxing. So I fell in love with the history. I love watching boxing. I love watching. And them days we only had 2 stations, you know what I mean, that were showing boxing. It was either ITV or BBC, and that was it. And them days we had 3 TV channels when I was growing up. Yeah, right. You had ITV, you had BBC, BBC 2, BBC 1, BBC 2, and ITV.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Yeah. Channel 5 was a new one when I was growing up. So we had Channel 5 came out.
So,
and I was
Channel 5 came out in 2000, I think.
Was it 2000? Not in the 90s?
No, sorry. About 97, 98.
Yeah, late 90s. Yeah.
97, 98. That's when they came out. I remember the first big fight that Channel 5 ever shown was Evander Holyfield versus Michael Morrow 2, the rematch. Yeah. So, I'm showing my age.
Big up to Paloma's Music saying, "Hail Aisha, and respect to Spencer. Thank you so much for joining."
Yeah, respect, man.
Wanted to ask you, so that gym then, that's the Afiwi boxing gym, which is where I go for my training now.
No, that wasn't Afri. Afri didn't even exist then.
As in, no, that's what it is now. The Brixton
Nah,
Recreation.
but the boxing, no. Afri, that's in the basement of the
Yeah,
recreation
in the
center.
basement. Yeah.
Right? No. So the boxing was on the second floor inside the recreation center.
Okay, so yours was on the
Right,
second.
where they play basketball. No, yeah, not the basketball. Opposite the basketball hall. So Afri Boxing Gym is new. It's baby in comparison to when I was going there. So
Yeah,
I was going. They first opened 84, 85.
right.
Yeah, yeah, and it was because of the reverberation of the Brixton riots. Cherry Groves got shot, and then to settle things within the community, they opened up the Brixton Recreation Centre, and I
Wow.
would go there religiously over the summer. Like,
Yeah.
I used to go every day there. It was the most funnest time. I'd go there every single day, and then from there, I ended up going to Brixton District Boxing Gymnasium,
Okay.
which is no longer going. It was at the pub at Half Moon Pub, which is no longer, it's defunct now. And then from there, I left from there and went to Lynn ABC, and that's where I started to box as an amateur and go on and do stuff there, and then eventually turn pro. So yeah.
Yeah. How was your amateur career like? How did you find that? Is it something that you really enjoyed? The journey of being an amateur?
Do you know what? I enjoyed the fact of like when you look back of being young and within like competitions and stuff, and you know what I mean, and going away to box, and I mean boxing, like highlight was like boxing for London and stuff like that. Or then you'd go to get sparring down at GB squad, even though I never reached onto the GB squad, but you go for sparring, so they bring you down there for sparring and stuff. So you spar good guys down there. Yeah, it was good. And at that time, the GB squad was at Crystal Palace, in the Crystal
Okay.
Palace grounds. That's where it was. And like you'd stay they had adjacent loft where you could stay and sleep, and that's where you got a room with guys. It was really cool. It was like, yeah.
Yeah. No, cool.
Meet loads of guys as well. Like
Huh?
you get to meet loads of people in there, like Woody
Yeah.
Harrison.
Oh.
Yeah, who else? Who else? Like um, Andy Lowe. There were like loads of guys. We were still friends today. So yeah, I mean, good.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you about, which is on Wikipedia, which you probably haven't, I don't know if you've read what's on there.
No, I haven't.
I mean, so they just write anything that they want and they don't even check it with you.
Well, it's kind of right. It's not really that far fetched away from things. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that they've got on there that I want to ask you about is that when you were a professional boxer, you were used as the model for body graphics for a video game. For
That's
Shadow
right.
Man.
Shadow Man.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
That is right. You know what? You know the crazy thing is this. I got, what was it? Acclaim was the company. I think they're bringing back out Shadow Man. So when people see like, oh, body graphics of Shadow Man was actually Spencer Fearon. Like,
Oh, wow.
I think I'm way more famous than the game, right? But that happened. There was a man called Clayton Benjamin, God rest his soul in paradise. I used to work for him. So this one I just turned pro. So I was 23. Wow, it's mad. 27 years ago, right? I was 23 years old, and he said, "Oh, now I met some guys, and they were looking for somebody. They're looking for an athletic person about your height, 6 foot, who could do body graphics for a video game." So I was like, "Okay, no problem, I'll do it." And they said they'll pay you well. And I was thinking like, "Well, how much do they pay you well?" He said, "Yeah, they'll pay you £300 a day." I'm like, "Damn, what, £300 a day?" And it's like
Yeah.
2 weeks work on that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm on that. That's like 3 grand. And it was like, no. That's what they pay you just for you coming in. But then there's a contract that you got to sign and blah. And like then I think they paid me something like £15,000.
Oh, wow.
Right? Do you know how gas that was? You know what I mean? I was like, seriously, and like it's kind of cool now because the game's like a legendary game now.
Mm,
And they did a lot for the press to boost that video game.
yeah.
But it's nice now that like a place in history is like that. Body graphics of Shadow Man and everything and the movements and all that is all that's me. That's all me.
Did you ever play the game yourself?
I had it,
Yeah.
but it was an adventure game, and back then my attention span wasn't for an adventure game.
Okay.
So like when people playing like it was like a Tomb Raider kind of game, and so I was never really in it. But I remember I got a lot of press for that as well. I mean, a lot of press. I mean, I did like a couple of TV shows and got did a couple of big interviews in the newspapers and stuff. I've got the newspaper cuttings up to this day.
Really? Oh,
they're going orange now, but it don't matter. I still got them. So.
That's such a cool thing to say that you're part of. That's really cool. I wanted to pick up on Palomas Music's thing saying, was Spencer ever into kung fu movies, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee?
Every black person was at my age group. Everyone was.
I think a lot of people were into that. Yeah, I loved Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. We didn't watch that growing up.
You know what? It wasn't that. It was more like the Charlene Temple movies, and you know what I mean, those were. I mean, not really. I wasn't really a Bruce Lee fan.
Mm-hmm.
I like the old kung fu movies, or like the black and white kung fu movies, because the narrative in the story was always the same. It was always about revenge. You killed my master. It was always that. So I'd watch those religiously.
Yeah. No, I really love those and they're really fun. So I want to just pick up on your alias Master Knowledge. Where did that first come about? Is it someone gave that to you? Did you come up with that? And isn't that a lot of pressure on you as being called Master Knowledge to then know everything about boxing?
No, because the thing about it is I don't know everything about boxing.
Okay.
I don't think nobody does.
No.
But to be truthful, I know more than most people.
Mm-hmm.
So then I know a lot.
Yeah.
It's not only that, but I've been blessed. I've got a photographic memory, so I kind of cheat. So you know what I mean, yeah. And not only that, but I have a listening memory. Like you tell me something, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
More than reading. If I can actually hear something,
yeah,
I won't forget it. You know what I mean? Just one of those it's kind of weird like that.
That's interesting because I was wondering how you learn and then how you retain all that information because it's quite a lot.
Yeah, well, what it is this? It's like from when I was young, it was me and former British heavyweight champion Danny Williams. We'd go running in the evenings, right? Around Brockwell Park. Late at night, we'd go running. About 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we'd go running. And we would challenge each other on history. And back then, Knight Fletcher, the originator and editor of the Ring magazine, he had a pictorial history book, right? So back then it went from the turn of boxing and to his natural conception of boxing all the way up to modern day. But all the way up to modern day then was like 1981 it went up to.
Okay.
But the history, you would get embellished in it because that was everything that I'd do at school. I'd have that book everywhere I'd go. That book was with me. And it was just different. And then also, it's not like now, information is just at your hands. Back then, it was like I would grab every boxing book, every boxing magazine, I would grab everything I could to learn boxing and to retain information. Not only that, but you wanted to box, you had aspirations to box.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. I just loved history. I just loved it so much that even at school, they just knew, just leave him alone. They just knew that was my thing. I was so deeply entrenched in the history of boxing. I was fascinated by looking at old black and white pictures. And then I was fortunate, like my work experience at school was at 1989, my work experience. My form tutor, her name was Miss Bell. God bless her. I don't know if she's still alive now. But like Miss Bell, she sent me to the Boxing Monthly, which is a magazine for work. And I was so gassed. Like, that was so nice of her. She was like, yeah, you love boxing. And you know what? We're going to send you to Boxing Monthly. And they got me in the Boxing Monthly. And they liked me so much at the Boxing Monthly that they gave me a Saturday job. I was 15 years old.
That's amazing.
So when I was in there was a guy called Robin Jones. He had the biggest fight collection in Europe on video, them kinds of videotapes, right? So he would give me every fight I wanted. So I would have stacks and stacks. He used to sell it for like £10 for a collection, but I'm a little kid. It's like, don't worry. He would just rub off videotapes after videotapes after videotapes for me. And I have all these videotapes where I'd sit down and just watch fights. So I was the envy of all the kids in my boxing club and everybody else, because they know, like, any fights, I would just have them. I would have those fights to watch. It's like kids today do not realize how privy they are to information. Like, anything they want to learn nowadays is a tap. You can type it in your computer and you can find it. That wasn't the case when I was growing up.
No,
you know, it's like I watched Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns when it first happened in September of 1981. The next time that I watched that fight properly was in 1990. So I went 9 years without properly watching that fight again.
Wow.
Imagine it, right? So you just had the memory of the fight, the recollection. Sometimes, like on TV, they show little highlights of it, but to watch the full fight in its entirety, I had to wait till then. And the only reason why I had to wait till then, because Top Rank came out with a collection of fights with Sugar Ray Leonard, and they had the Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, just like the Rumble in the Jungle, Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, October of 1974. Those fights, I had to go and get them on VHS. So therefore, I could go and watch them, and I'd sit down and I'd just watch these fights over, and they'd be constantly on in my house. It was that was like the kind of thing, go around Spencer, you always got boxing. So that's what it was. So if you constantly got this something on, constantly got it on, then it's going to be easy to retain.
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely.
So that's how it was. But I had a great fascination for all black and white fights, or certain things that black and white fighters did. And so I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have been in the game and to watch certain things which to the average eye, the people can't catch it, people can't see it. And also because of that, you end up, you say, like, you actually got encyclopedic knowledge, but what it is not. It's like I've got encyclopedic memory, because I remember these things, and there's no such thing as a good, or there's either a good memory or a memory that hasn't been developed enough. There's not a bad memory.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate for that. So that's where my passion was. So much. That's where my passion was. So yeah.
That's great. I want to just pick up on Mohsin Mahmood. Thank you so much for joining, Mohsin. He said, I feel like you value and retain the knowledge more when you actually work for the information. Now everything is at the click of our fingertips. It's almost information overload sometimes.
That is the truth. That is the truth. But when you're passionate about something, like I am with boxing, when you're passionate about something, then you can easily make your passion become your paycheck. It's quite easy. So I've been very fortunate for that. So on a couple of things that I'm fortunate about, then I've found a way for it to pay me in some ways.
That's the aim, isn't it, for everyone, really? You should love what you're doing. Paloma's Music is saying, back then we only had the library. Kids nowadays don't realize how much information is readily accessible to them. Absolutely. I had an encyclopedia, still got a full encyclopedia. We had to look up everything in the books. We didn't have Google or anything to do
Yeah,
after.
or you have, you know what? I tell you as well. It was like my aunt. She'd have every year she'd get like the Guinness Book of Records, yeah. And I would look at that, and all I would do is turn to the boxing section, and just read that from I'm talking like from about 1981, right? So I would read just that section. And even at them time, you couldn't read a lot. You'd look at the pictures, and that would tell you the story. Yeah. So yeah, I've been very fortunate about that. And then you remember silly little facts. You know, like at the time when Muhammad Ali retired from boxing, right? At the time when Muhammad Ali retired from boxing, he amassed $68 million from boxing. Wow. And at that time that was an unprecedented amount of money, because he truly retired in 1981, right? That's when he retired, when he fought Trevor Burbeck in the Bahamas, right? And that's when he retired from boxing. And Sugar Ray Leonard came along and surpassed that figure by earning, was it $112 million from boxing. And we're saying, wow, that's incredible, the amount of, you know what I mean, the amount of money that he earned. And I remember June 12th, Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns have their second fight, which ended in a draw, but many people believe that Tommy Hearns actually won that fight because he knocked down Sugar Ray Leonard twice, once in the 4th round and once in the 11th round. But I remember after that, because it was unprecedented money that he got, then he got something like $15 million, right? And at that time, the fights weren't shown live on TV. You had to go to the cinemas to watch it, and then have a live broadcast in the cinema. Big thing, and like you'd have to pay. I think it was like £10 to get in or whatever.
Oh wow!
Right, and so you'd have closed circuit TV in the video in the theater. You have to go buy a ticket to go watch it in the theater. Which to this day, Muhammad Ali holds the record for the most people going to the cinemas to watch him fight. Right, and his number far surpasses Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view buys. Right. So when Floyd said, yeah, but I was like, all right, but if he was on, you would have reached the number that Muhammad Ali, that's how big Muhammad Ali was. But Ray Leonard, after that fight, said, I believe that somebody will earn $100 million for a single fight. Easily surpass that number. And then we had to go some nearly 20 years after, but then Floyd Mayweather surpassed that number. And like, so it's looking at these kind of things, and when people tell you, this is going to happen, and we're sitting there saying, and those days, those numbers were unprecedented numbers. You're thinking, oh my goodness gracious, but it's been surpassed, and that's what it is. Records are here to be broken. Someone's going to surpass Floyd Mayweather's record of financial gains inside boxing as well. So, trust me, it's going to, because it's just nature.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's go to a couple of comments. Mohsin Mahmood is saying, he keeps saying 1981, young man looks about 25, 30.
MashaAllah, I'm 50 years old, my friend.
MashaAllah. Flowers Music saying, let me tell you about the yellow pages. That was our equivalent of contacts. Yep. And he's also saying, Spencer, VHS or Betamax. I don't know about what Betamax
is. Betamax. Betamax came before VHS. And Betamax was like a brick. You have to push the thing down. And then VHS, you have to close it, you have to push it down. Then when VHS came, you have to push it down. Then they had this front loading thing where you could slide it in, similar to like how you slide in CDs.
Yeah.
A lot of young kids don't even know what CDs are.
VHS. I know VHS. Obviously, the videos, the cassettes. We used to have the cassettes, and then all the thing would come out, and you have to wind it back in using a pencil, and you have like a music.
Yeah.
That's
so
stuff I know.
we started the VHS, and not only that, it was like in my household, my parents are old-fashioned, so I got things late. Anything that was new, I'd never get it. They'd have to wait ages before we get something. So eventually we got one. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah, man. So Muslim saying, and the A to Z Tom now phones are good times. Yep. Jam's Boxing Chat. Big up to you guys. Thank you so much for joining. When I was a kid, my dad used to come home from the army and he'd wake me around 3 to 4 a.m. to listen to the fights on the radio.
That's right. That's what I used to do regularly. And at the time on BBC Radio was a man called Ian Dark, who ended up doing a commentary from Sky. But Ian Dark was the original radio man. He was absolutely incredible. He was so good. I mean, he was so good. Because when you're a radio commentator, I like listening to radio commentary because they absolutely paint the picture of what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Right. If you're a radio commentator, you're way more well-versed. You're way more well-versed than TV commentators, because TV commentators get the visual and then they're going to add to it. But when you're listening to radio commentary, it's different because they have to paint a picture.
No, absolutely. Jams is saying, I remember Ian Dark.
Yeah, Ian Dark was a boss. He's doing football now on one of these channels, Sky, and I think on TNT now. But yeah, he's doing football now. But he was an excellent. Trust me. And that was more like in the 2000s, but he was excellent. But with radio, he was in radio like in the 80s, and I remember listening to him doing the fights.
Wow. Do you think that you learn with the listening because you grew up listening to radio? Do you think that that's something that might have helped you to learn more?
It was when you had British fights. Those days, for some strange reason, a lot of the big fights in Britain would happen on a Tuesday.
Okay.
And then you listen to the radio on a Tuesday, and then Sports Night on BBC would show it the next day on a Wednesday. Yeah, kind of weird. But, and then they switched it to start showing fights live. But that could be. I've never really thought about it, but maybe that has got something to do with it.
Maybe. So you've met loads of great people. I want to ask you, did you meet Muhammad Ali at all? Did you ever get a chance to meet him? You did? Oh, wow. Where was that?
It was 1989 in the West End, Greek Street, a nightclub there called Moonlight. And the man that ran it used to be in Muhammad Ali's entourage.
Oh.
And I just got, yeah. It's sad because I didn't get a picture.
Oh, that's a shame.
You know what I mean? But I was just gassed to be in a room. There was loads of people there. I remember Johnny Nelson was there as well. I was only a little kid then.
Nice.
I didn't know, what was I, 15?
Yeah.
Johnny Nelson was there. Who was there? Gary Mason. I think Lloyd Hannigan was there as well. Yeah, I think he was there. Yeah, it was like there was loads of fighters who all came down. Michael Watson was there. Yeah, it was yeah, it was amazing.
That must have been amazing. So from everyone you've met, who have you been most starstruck with, if any of the legends that you've met? Have you been starstruck?
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
after meeting Muhammad Ali, I didn't need to, but I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There is something about Mike Tyson that makes you, there's something about Mike Tyson that makes you think like, oh my goodness gracious. Back then it's weird now, like you see him now, I'm shit, whatever. Right? But then like when he came over to fight Julius Francis, and what was that, 2000? He came over to fight Julius Francis, and when he came over, I get a phone call from Lloyd Hannigan, the former undisputed world welterweight champion. He had one of the biggest upset wins in boxing history when he beats Donald Curry in September of 1986. And me and Lloyd were pretty close. He lived down the road from me. And I was kind of gassed that Lloyd Hannigan, undisputed world champion. He used to train me for a bit as well. I'd get time to spend around Lloyd. And it was like early in the morning, he gives me a phone call. And he goes, Spencer, Mike's coming in town. Come on, we got to go and see him. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm kind of gassed, like, yeah, Tyson's coming. So he said, come, let me go to the airport. And I'm like, well, I'm not going tonight. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, get out of my bed. And he goes, right now. And he takes me to the hotel. And I meet Mike Tyson. And I'm gassed.
Wow.
And I remember it was me, Audley Harrison. Audley Harrison hadn't won the Olympic gold medal yet. Audley Harrison just qualified for the Olympics. And it was like we turn up, and Mike Tyson, who's like saw Audley, and he goes, "Hey man, you just qualified for the Olympics, right?" And like Audley's like, "Yeah," like he's gassed because Mike Tyson he's very well versed on boxing, man. So he's gassed, I'm gassed, and I got to spend a lot of time with Mike Tyson then. I remember then I said, Tunde, come, you want to meet Mike Tyson? Tunde, what? I said, come. I take Tunde down. So I've known Tunde for years. I said, Tunde, come. And that Tunde was gas. So we brought him down. I brought Tunde down to the hotel as well. So yeah, it was
wow.
Yeah.
That must have been amazing.
But the major thing is this, or the funny thing is this, it's like all those people that I would waiting up late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, the majority of them, I got their phone numbers now. The majority of them I speak to on a day-to-day. You know what I mean? And like sometimes, especially when I speak to my wife, I say like, she takes it like it's nothing. You know what I mean? We're in the car and I get a FaceTime, it's Bernard Hopkins. And like, I say, this is Bernard Hopkins. And I was like, like, she don't care. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Wow, man, that must be crazy.
I need a second wife. So I'm saying like it's permissible. We're Muslim, so it's like
bro, watch it, man, because like there's a lot of things inside there. You can't just take a second wife. You got to give them another house. You know, you got to give them the same stuff.
Don't worry, I've got that covered, man. Don't worry. So when you offer those things, like it is truly an abundant position.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what's nice, or that's what's nice with like recently when they had the big dinner in Saudi Arabia.
that one, man. Oh my god, I was going to ask you about that one.
I was at that dinner, and the major thing is like Spencer Brown phoned me, said, "Give me some names, Who's Tyson Fury's manager? So I gave him a whole list of names, and you know he got them.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, that picture with all of you guys at the end, like outside taking that mess. I was like,
I got him a list of names because Michael Spinks, the former heavyweight champion of the world, who lost to Mike Tyson in June 28th, 1988, which that's the only fight that I've ever cried over. I cried when I loved Michael Spinks. And I said to him, get Michael Spinks because he's former heavyweight champion of the world, and right? And he went out and he got Michael Spinks. I'm like,
wow.
I remember going there and I'm seeing Michael Spinks in there. We've spoken many times over the phone. I've never met him. And I told everyone, look, you got all of these people in the room. And like, when I mean everybody was in the room, Mike Tyson was in the room, Roy Jones is in the room, Manny Pacquiao's in the room, Oscar De La Hoya's in the room. You know, there's so many great guys. Joe Kawasaki, who doesn't get the props that he should be getting. Ricky Hans in the room. I was going around and looking around. Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, and you know, and it was weird after I meet Teddy Atlas and he goes, "Hey, you're the knowledge, right?" And I was like, I said,
wow, really?
You're a young man. You know your stuff. I'm like, wow. and I see Michael Spinks there, and I said, I don't care about anybody who's in this room. And there's names. Lennox Lewis is there. Larry Holmes is there. I'm saying I don't care about anybody. I said, you see, you? I used to watch this man from the 1976 Olympics in Montreal when he won the Olympic gold medal at middleweight. I've watched him and his brother. His brother won it at like heavyweight, and he won it at middleweight. I said, you see, you? I used to copy everything for you. You know what I mean? He had a really goofy style and everything. So I'm saying, like, for that in boxing and things that's happened in boxing, I'm just so grateful for, you know? I'm really, really grateful for.
No, absolutely, man. Like once in a lifetime opportunities, and you've just been at some amazing places. So just alhamdulillah that you've had that opportunity to do those things. I want to just ask you some questions from the comments. So Dino's asking, who does Spencer think the top 3 fighters pound for pound of all time are?
The top 3 fighters of pound for pound of all time. It varies, because you get me on one day, I'm going to tell you one thing. You get me another day, I'm thinking, seriously, it varies for me. But the top guys or the legends that I like to watch, I really do like and appreciate Roberto Duran. And alhamdulillah, he was ill. He had a successful operation. Okay. I really like Roberto Duran. I think Roberto Duran's excellent. He's one of them. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Robinson's one of them. Willie Pep's one of them. Willie Pep was fantastic. Willie Pep's one of them. I love Sugar Ray Leonard because it's Sugar Ray Leonard. And I said Muhammad Ali without that. So I can't say who are the top guys pound for pound, because sometimes you could go by stats, and stats doesn't give you the true representation of who that person was, or their integralness to their nature or who they are as a human being. You go by stats, we're going to say Floyd Mayweather. And the thing about it is this: I respect Floyd Mayweather greatly. I just think that he just knew how to manipulate the game.
Okay.
But don't get twisted, he's incredibly talented, right? And he's one of the hardest working people ever, right? But I ain't gonna turn around and say, like, when people say, "Oh, yo, Floyd Mayweather would have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather would have beaten Tommy Hearns, Floyd Mayweather would have beaten like the Fab Four." He wouldn't have beaten the Fab Four, right? Because this is what you got to do. When you're putting Floyd Mayweather up against these guys, you have to put those guys of their fighting skills and put them into this era.
Okay.
If you put those guys and those fighting skills and put them into this era, they beat Floyd Mayweather. If you take Floyd Mayweather for what he knows and put him in their era, he'd have a chance against these guys. But then I'm saying, what Floyd Mayweather done, he's managed to elongate his longevity in the sport. Because he had a break in there, he had near enough a 3-year hiatus outside of the sport. When he comes back and he fights one Manuel Marquez, which was an incredible performance, right? But in saying that, with those great guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, their peak was very short, in comparison to what Floyd did. But the level of competition, what they were up against the best of themselves at that time. But, not knocking Floyd Mayweather for his accomplishments. I remember when Floyd Mayweather first came out and called himself TB. I was saying, look at this about TB. Shut up. Right? I'm going to be real with you. I'm like, shut up. But when you look at it, Floyd is excellent. You know what I mean? He's excellent. Yeah. But I want people to realize this part here. Go and watch his fight against Shane Mosley when Shane Mosley wobbles him really badly. And I keep on thinking to myself, if that was Tommy Hearns in there and he had you going like that, you're finished. If that was Roberto Duran in there and he hit you and you're hurt like that, you're finished. If that was Leonard in there, you got hit like that, then you are finished. I'm not even going to say about Marvin Hagler, because Marvin Hagler is a middleweight. Even though he wasn't the biggest of middleweights, but Marvin Hagler is a middleweight. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I'm not saying that Floyd isn't great, because Floyd is great, for the simple fact of, like, I would say that Floyd Mayweather is the greatest businessman in boxing ever.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. You're the greatest businessman in, right? And you are great. You know what I mean? You are great. Just like I'm saying, like, you are better than Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao is greater than Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Floyd Mayweather is excellent, but he ain't. I've never been in a rush to say that I want to watch Floyd Mayweather. A Floyd Mayweather fight has never given me the butterflies of me saying, like, when I was a kid and I knew that Sugar Ray Leonard was about to fight. You know what I mean? Because I remember the hysteria of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler in 1987. I remember what that, because it was a long build-up. It was the talk of Sugar Ray Leonard coming out of retirement. And they were saying, what? You know what I mean? And you remember that at that time there, I'm 12 years old. I'm 12 years old. And they said, oh, Sugar Ray Leonard's coming out of retirement to fight Marvin Hagler. And they were saying, nah, you're crazy. Nah, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get killed. He's going to get demolished.
Wow.
I remember at the time I had a friend who we used to box at the same club together called Clive Duhaney, who, if he'd chosen to box properly, he would have done some amazing things. But those guys just like the street life, right? And he just I remember saying, do you see that in the newspaper? Like, Sugar Leonard's coming out of retirement to fight Marvin Hagler. He's going to get killed. And he said, what are you talking about? Sugar Leonard's a bad man. Sugar Leonard's going to deal with him. And because he was like my senior in the club, he kind of, just because him saying it, it kind of changed my mind. I said, oh, yeah. You know, so, yeah. But I know the hysteria of what that fight did at that time. And I know the record numbers that did as well. So, yeah, it is what.
So yeah, let's go to what Paloma's Music is asking. So Spencer's thoughts on potential Manny Pacquiao versus Conor fight. Personally, I think it's terrible.
You know what? I hear the part where you say it's terrible, but the thing is this: Conor Ben ain't banging like how he first was punching, right? And Manny Pacquiao potentially, even though he's been out for a little bit because he hasn't boxed in a hot minute since the Ugas fight, right? Manny Pacquiao could still beat Conor Ben. You tip Conor Ben because he's younger and he's fresher, but it wouldn't be no surprise to me. It was like in not a boy you lot, but in 1960, or was it 61? 1960, the British champion, and then time you the British Empire champion at middleweight was a man called Terry Downs. And Terry Downs fights the legendary Sugar Ray Robinson. And Sugar Ray Robinson was old then. He was an old man, right? And they put him in with Terry Downs, and Ray Robinson loses on points. He didn't get hurt; he just lost on points. And maybe this could be one of them kind of ways. Like, you're great, but you are well past yourself by date. But you never know, because you know what they say with this, like the last thing you lose is your punch, and Conor's a good fighter, but he's not a defensive genius. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I like Conor. I support Conor and his career and everything. I'm just wondering what will this fight do for his career? Like, where is that going to take him fighting Manny Pacquiao? Do you see what I mean? I'm not sure.
I just think that he should fight Chris Eubank Jr. Get over and done with. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. On the same line, then, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. What are you thinking about that?
I think Mike Tyson's greedy. That's what I think. I think Mike Tyson should be happy being this older connoisseur of the game, being this go-to person with a plethora of knowledge. I've been very fortunate. I've visited Mike Tyson in his home in Vegas, being with his wife, his mother-in-law, his father-in-law. He's in a really good position, right? But there is something still burning in the basement with him. And, I'm not even going to take that fight serious. And how can Tyson take that fight serious? But what he has to take serious is the fact that you're nearly 60 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I wouldn't want to see anything go pear-shaped for Mike Tyson. I wouldn't like to see that at all. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, they're showing things on social media about his training and stuff, but literally you see 30-second clips. How far can you go? How far is his stamina going to take him at 50?
I can look like Sugar Ray Leonard for 30 seconds clips.
But in a fight, you need to go 3 minutes per round like that.
So this is the way of the world. But you know what? To tell you the truth, even though it was Roy Jones, what was that, a few years ago now? What's it, about 4 years ago, when he fought Roy Jones?
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
He looked reasonably good in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He did look reasonably good, right? Even though, like, I'd love for Mike Tyson to smash Jake Paul, but it's something I can't take something seriously. Here's the difference. It was like when Evander Holyfield went in against that guy, what's that name, right, and he loses, right? It doesn't really affect the body of work that you've done. But the difference is this: you'd be hard pressed to find a more iconic figure that has graced boxing in the last 50 years than Mike Tyson. It's very difficult to find one, right? You got Ali, then Mike Tyson could be like just beneath him, right? He's an iconic figure. So because of that, I'm saying, why would you want to besmirch your legacy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I understand that he's going to get paid handsomely well, and it will be ridiculous the amount of money it's going to be generated. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, we'll see.
But Spence, is it not dangerous for somebody at that age to be fighting someone half their age who could potentially do them a lot of damage? Like if he,
it's dangerous at any age for someone to jump into boxing.
Yeah, but not more dangerous for someone like Mike Tyson.
Of course it is. At your age, of course it is.
So yeah, that's it. That's the only worry I have. I guess it's more don't want him to get hurt, but I know it's boxing and that's what happens. But yeah. So I wanted to ask you. Obviously, I can't leave you without asking you about Islam. It's really important. It's one of the things that's most important to me. It's very important to you. I see you talk about it a lot. As a Muslim, I love hearing about conversion stories, reversion stories. Could you just tell us a bit about how you came to Islam? And I think I heard you say on a live once that your mum was Jewish. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like growing up in a Jewish household and then finding Islam, could you just tell us a bit about how you came to that?
No, I told this. My great grandmother is Syrian Jew.
Okay.
Right? And so my great grandfather, they got married. So even though they were Jewish, they're Jewish by the lineage of how it goes. In Islam, you are Muslim through your father.
Yeah.
In Judaism, you're a Jew through your mother.
Yeah.
So even my mother, even though being Jewish because of her grandma, they kind of follow Christianity and Christian practices. But my niece so my niece, she's proper follows Judaism.
Right.
You know what I mean? Married to her husband's Jewish as well. They proper follow Judaism because they know through the lineage of our grandparents, her great 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 grandparents that were Jewish, so she followed Judaism. So with me, I grew up in a church. So the same way like I can memorize stuff in boxing, it was the same biblically. I was on another level to learn things in the Bible. I was on another level. So me growing up, everybody thought I was going to be a preacher. Everybody,
really? Oh, wow.
Everybody. I was in the church from 3 years old. So everyone said, yeah, he's going to be a preacher. Definitely going to be a preacher. So kind of left the church, which I was at the church. I was at the Tabernacle Church from about 4 years old. My longest friend, who we're friends up to this day, we've been friends for 46 years. We're still friends today. I'm godfather to his children. He's godfather to mine. Country. We went to the Tabernacle Church together. The Tabernacle Church in Elephant and Castle is a fantastic church. I mean, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the Tabernacle Church, I don't think I'd be working in TV, because there was one guy in there, because they just really treated kids good. Like they'd come around the ends in a minivan, pick you up, take you to Sunday school, teach you about biblical stuff, teach you about famous Christians, you know. So I could pick up history. William Wilberforce, the man that ended the slave trade, with William Pitt the Younger, who was a devout Christian. You'd learn about all these kind of things. You learn these things because you knew about these guys. Charles Bunyan, who wrote Pilgrim's Progress. You'd learn about these men. So being in a church environment, how it goes is this: is like when I got introduced to Islam was mainly by listening to loads of different cassettes and books by, there's a man, Bilal Phillips, who's a Jamaican Muslim. You know what I mean? Ahmed Didat, who's a Don. I would listen to loads of them.
Oh man, his debates are next level.
He was a Don. He was a Don. I remember he went to America and destroyed Jimmy Swaggart. I was like, I want to know. But then I also got to be realistic about this whole thing. Is like there's a militant side to me, so I would listen to a lot of Malcolm X. I listened to a lot of Malcolm X. And his rhetoric was very brave. I listened to that, and then he was Nation of Islam in the beginning, and I just liked how the Nation of Islam, how they carried themselves. But we understand, like, on those things, they're deviant, so they're shirk. And anything that is a deviant is that which is leading you away from it. And anything that's leading you away from Islam is leading you to the hellfire. But what I'm saying is how these men carried themselves through the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that fascinated me because they were so disciplined. So sometimes something that is the deviant can also lead you to the true path, because what does it say in the book of Isaiah in the Bible? Seek ye first the kingdom of God. The kingdom, the king is you, the dome is your brain, right? So you got to find that manifestation of the God within. Yeah. And then once you find that, then all things are possible. And then you realize that you actually have the power to bend things to how you want things to be, or you have the power for things to be a certain way. You got that power within you by the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then, and this all comes around to Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson come over here to fight Julius Francis, right? When Mike Tyson comes over here to fight Julius Francis in 1999, he comes over to fight Julius Francis, and it was a big ballyhoo. Everybody wanted to go see Mike Tyson. Everyone was trying to get into the hotel, and it was mad. Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. He stayed at the Grosvenor House Hotel on Park Lane. And because of Lloyd Hannigan, the former undisputed world champion, I get a chance to go meet Mike. And while I'm down there, I see some guy who I knew from the streets, whose name was Bilal. Well, he changed his name to Bilal.
Okay.
And I see his brother in a kufi now, and a phobe, big beard. But this shit used to be a gangster on the road.
Oh, wow.
Like, no, I'm talking like, he was the guy, he was like a gunman. He had bare guns, right? And I'm looking at this guy. He said, "You're Spencer Fearon." I was like, "Yeah." Like, but I knew who you was because everyone knows you renowned on the streets. Like, right. I said, "What's your name now?" He said, "Yeah, Bilal." He said, "I've given my life to Islam, all the rest of it." The guy's got a big beard now. So we're debating hard on Islam for ages. I used to love doing that. Wow, Christian. And he just broke things down to me. And he gave me loads of books to read. I mean, loads of books to read, right? And then on top of that, he gave me loads of cassettes to listen to. Them days it was cassettes in your car. Put them in your car. So I'm listening to loads of cassettes of loads of different scholars. And Brother Yasin was like the purpose of life. And I listened to that, and that changed my life, man. Literally, that changed my life. I listened to that, and it was about 2 weeks after that, I took my shahada.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, about 2 weeks after that, I took my shahada. So that is 25 years ago.
Wow, mashallah.
right? And then for ever since then, I've just been on it. So I'm that person that will sometimes I'll say things that will go against the way the world want to hear things, but I'm a staunch supporter of humanity first. That is the most important thing. So I'm a staunch supporter of humanity first, right? So if I'm supporting humanity, then I'm supporting Islam. But if I see certain things that are going around the world right now, which is just deliberately aimed at people who would most probably pray 5 times a day, who would most probably have a mark in their forehead like what I've got, who most probably... So those things, I'm being staunch on that. But first, it's got to be humanity, right? And for that, then, you know what I mean, I've been fortunate because I've hooked up with quite a few... I've hooked up with quite a few other Muslim brothers, and it's good to debate, and it's good to also increase in knowledge. Or it's like, if you've got a platform and you're not using your platform for this, me personally, I've been blessed to have a platform where I can go anywhere in the world, people gonna know boxing, right?
Yeah.
And I can access anybody, right? But if you have been given a platform and it's not to amplify your Lord, knowing who the Lord of the heavens and the earth is, then it's going to get taken away from you.
Yeah.
So my fear is not for the platform being taken away from me. My fear is for the platform being taken away from me because I haven't used it to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name. That is the most important thing to me, right? And when you talk like that, then you become fearless, right? When and the non-believers, they know this because they're saying, well, how come you can walk so boldly? Why are you walking so boldly? I'm walking so boldly because I know that 5 times a day, I'm in the presence of Allah. I'm in the presence of God. Those of people don't get that part. But I'm turning around saying, like, me, Spencer Fearon, yeah, Musa Ali, when I bow my head, it is in the presence. We're taught that you are in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are bowing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's presence is in front of you when you are bowing your head in prostration. Right? And you know the craziest thing is this? Scientists are telling us now, right, that through energy, as you are prostrated, you are vibrating with the source. So who is the real source? Who's the creator of the source? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and they're just realizing this now. So these are things that, yeah. So I'm staunch when it comes to those kind of things. I'm staunch. It's like, we've recently now just launched, which is going up as I come off of here. I'm going to cut this piece here from the show and I'm going to use it because we're doing something now. What's the name of it? I'm going to tell you the name of it right now. 1 second, sis. I'm doing it with Al Medina 313 Al Medina, the charity that did their things with Hamzat Chimaev.
Okay.
I'm doing something also with Save One Life, where you came to.
That was the one I came to, yes. So I pledged actually. So I'm guys, I'm raising £10,000 for Gaza. So I'm going to send out the link on this
Send
YouTube.
it out.
And I hope that people can please donate as much as you can. They're giving cash aid to Gaza right now until the actual blockade is released and the actual aid can come in, the food and water can come in. That can't come in right now. So they're giving out cash aid to the people in Gaza. And yeah, trying to raise £10,000. So I'll put the link in the description for the YouTube video. So please, guys, if you can also donate, I'd really appreciate that.
And inshallah, you're gonna reach that number.
Inshallah.
You know what I mean? No, you're gonna reach it. You're gonna reach it, sis. I've got no doubt in my head that you're gonna reach. You're gonna reach it. So it was like to be like present for charity work, to help people, knowing that you've been blessed to be around like sound people who are trying to help other people who are less fortunate. And but at Al Medina, these men, brother Bay and the rest of these brothers, they came to me and said, look, we need to start something for you because your platform. We can start something with you.
Mm-hmm.
And in this holy month of Ramadan, it'd be so fitting for us to do something to help people who are finding it difficult in this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's do something now to help the brothers and sisters. And when we're saying brothers and sisters, we're talking about humanitarian side of the
Mm-hmm.
human family. We're not
Yeah.
singling it out just the Muslims, because when it says, like in the pillars of Islam, that zakat is important, it's imperative that we do it because that's one of the pillars. It doesn't say that zakat we have to only give to Muslims. No, that's nonsense. It's saying that you must give zakat, you must give charity to help people. Reason why is it says if you give charity of even of half a date. You know what I mean? So sometimes we don't realize what charity is.
Mm.
Like, if you just give, you know what I mean, to help people, and it's important that we show people in the holy month of Ramadan, and what we're doing, like on what we're doing with this. It's important. It's important because we're trying to not only just give back, because it's easy to turn around and say, "Oh well, we're giving back," but also like to help people who are less fortunate. Who, you know what I mean? It's important. It's important. It's important. So yeah, so 313 Al Medina. We're doing something as that. You know what I mean, which is important as we observe the sacred month of Ramadan. It's this time that we called is heightened compassion for us to support, and it is imperative that we give, you know what I mean, our outreach beyond our usual circles, which is just usually as with other Muslims. I mean, this month serves as a reminder that we share humanitarian and the importance of standing together as a global family. With this principle in mind, you know what I mean, I'll be working with in a collaborative effect with Al Medina 313, aimed of improving essentials for people with food items to any brothers and sisters who are struggling at this moment and are in this time of need and support. Additionally, we will be offering assistance to families struggling to meet their needs of their children. Our outreach efforts are dedicated to supporting individuals and families within London communities right now. Hopefully, you get big enough. We could do it to for the whole of the country, right? During the blessed month of Ramadan. So I'm going to put a link on here if you could. So for anyone, if they can donate, Alhamdulillah, it means a lot. You know what I mean? But I've been blessed to meet some beautiful brothers at the 313 Al Medina charity. And they're saying, let's go do this. So I've just said this live on your thing right now, and let's see how much we can raise. We've started already. I think we're starting off already. We've already got today. We just spoke about it, and I've got personal donations already of £5,000, and we're gonna, alhamdulillah, and we're gonna try and help as many people as possible in this holy month, and that's it. And it doesn't matter who you are, black, white, indifferent, Christian, Jew, agnostic. I don't care. If you need help, you know what I mean, I'm going to send a link on here if you need help, and also I'm going to send a donation link if you could post this on your wonderful channel, sis. I think that's a great way to. That's a great way to close. I was only meant to give you 15 minutes. I'll give you an hour and 2 minutes.
Can you believe we're going to have to do a part 2, Spence, because I've got loads of questions and they have not been answered. So we're going to, inshallah, try to get you on another time.
No, listen. I'm here next year. I mean, anytime, like in Ramadan as well, so I can see the efforts. Hopefully, people on here can donate as well. We can see the efforts and we see like where we're going from here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to rip that little piece there. I'm going to post it, and we see where we go from there. Yes, sis?
100%. I want to say a huge thank you to you for joining the show. Also, guys, if you're not watching The Fight Is Right, I think it's every Sunday evenings, 8 p.m. Is that right?
That's right. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. Myself and Tunde Ajayi. Thank you very much.
So please watch them on YouTube.
We're doing great numbers. So alhamdulillah. And make sure that everybody that you like and subscribe, right, to iBoxingHub, right? That's right, yeah? iBoxingHub?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Make sure you like and subscribe to iBoxingHub. Yeah, I mean, especially like my sister Aiysha. I remember when I first met you at the O2.
At the no, it wasn't. It was in Birmingham.
Was that Birmingham?
It was in Arnold Schwarzenegger's.
Oh yeah, and then after I saw you at the yes, that's right. It was at the Arnold. That is
Yeah,
right.
it's the Arnold
That's
thing.
like
Yeah, and I
what,
was like,
3
oh,
years
you're
ago.
Fearon. I know you. I see you. I follow you on Instagram. And then
Yeah, yeah, I remember. You was with your sister, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you see? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your
No
time.
problem, Chris.
And yeah, inshallah, we'll catch up again soon. Guys, everyone who's been tuned in today, thank you so much for contributing, for watching. Please like, forward, subscribe, share, and inshallah, I'll catch you all later. Thank you so
All right,
much.
assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's another band. All the mass and cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please.